Another bit of a funny story. I think it's funny. When we were set up at Benoit, my first trip over, we we were I think we spent 2 weeks getting acclimatised, and then we went out in our first operation. Whatever, but while we're out there, the engineers come in and finished digging our pits and putting in the bunkers, overhead cover and whatever. And the same on my machine gun pit and the mortar pits and whatever. The story I was going to relate was that the first truckload of ammunition that came out from the big ammunition dump in Saigon, the American one, because we were one part of the 173rd Airborne Brigade, as the 1st and 2nd 503rd of the 173rd and us. It was our job to look after the Benoit airbase. But the first load of ammunition came out and we had unloaded it by hand. It was a hard job because, virtually there was mortar bombs and whatever, and had to form a chain and virtually pass one bomb at a time until you got the whole lot off the truck. And there was belts of ammunition and boxes of ammunition and grenades and everything, a mixture of stuff. And it took us, it was hard work and took a long time to do it. But getting on with the story, the next time I'm going in, it was after we'd done another operation, whatever, but this Ronnie Leaf driving one of the trucks, and he just called out to me. He said, "Come and ride shotgun with me." And anyway, I just called out to the sergeant, Bevan Stokes, Punchy Stokes. I said, "Is it all right if I go shotgun with Ronnie to get ammo?" And he said, "Yeah." So I just jumped in the truck, and they had a hole on the passenger side where you could stand up with a rifle and whatever, but we didn't need to use that much. There was helicopter gunships flying over the top all the way in and all the way back. But Ronnie made sure that we were the last truck on the end of the line, and we drove in to Saigon from Benoit, and you can imagine like this walking like big sheds and stuff that the ammunition dump would have, and the security was unreal. There was stacks of soldiers and the guards on the gates and you name it. And when we first pulled in, like the convoy pulled in, the guys in the first truck handed the paperwork out, and the guard signed it off and opened the boom gate and let them through, and that sort of happened with the 3 battalion trucks, lots of trucks, and we were at the back, and our lead truck, he handed the paperwork over and we waved through, and inside they had these big sheds and this high stage and a ramp going up onto it. The ammunition was sort of set out in areas for each battalion. It had been ordered probably by the RSM and CSM of each company, etc. And they normally took care of the ammunition side of things. But as soon as we pulled up, I backed the truck into the stage, and as soon as we pulled up, Ronnie jumped out, jumped on one of the forklifts, and there's probably a dozen forklifts racing around there, loading trucks going in all directions. To all different areas and different units. And he just started loading our trucks with these pallets, with the forklift. But when he got to our truck, he only just put 2 pallets, one on each side at the front. And then he just drove round with the forklift and went up the ramp and onto the stage, and then drove along and drove the forklift straight onto the back of our truck. And got out and just chained it down as casual as you like. And when everyone was ready, the lead American truck went out, got signed off at the gate, and we all followed through. As I say, each front truck got the same thing signed out. And we waved to the guards, etc., and sailed off back out to Benoit. And as soon as we got there, into our area, Punchy Stokes, Sergeant, got a heap of blokes to dig a couple of holes real quick, and Ronnie just backed the truck into the back wheels into the holes, lowered the back of the truck, and then jumped up and drove the forklift off, raced around and unloaded all the trucks that were going to 1 battalion, and then drove the forklift into one of the tents there that was empty that had set up. And I know Punchy knew what was going on, but I had no idea what was going to happen. Anyway, this Ronnie was a bit of a scrounger. He's a funny bloke. If you needed something, he was the bloke to get it. But from then on, every time ammunition was brought out, for a start, they painted over all the American signs and things on the truck, on the forklift, and just painted the colour of our vehicles, and which wasn't much different to the Yanks, but it didn't have as many markings and stuff, and it was all painted, and it was just left in this tent, and every time the ammunition came, it was used to unload it. I mean, it made it so much easier. It's just unload the pallets and take them to each pit, and it was just a matter of packing the stuff away, whereas before we used to have to unload it by hand, and a bomb at a time, and it was unreal. It was slow and hard. But anyway, the problem was solved, and we had ourselves a forklift. Nobody ever mentioned or asked about it or anything. Because, after every war, the Americans take everything that's even new stuff and whatever. I remember Dad told me that there was new motorbikes like Harley Davidsons and, weapons and pistols and whatever, boxes and loads of them. They'd just taken out and dumped in the ocean. And, that's what would have happened to all the stuff from Vietnam as well. But when I went back over the second time, I came home in April, the first time, April 66, 3rd of April, and I went back over. I think it was about the 8th of March with the advance party in 1968, and I asked a couple of the 7 Battalion blokes that we were taking over from, with the forklift still around, and they said, yeah, it's still there. It had broken down once, and some of the transport guys had gone down into the town of Berea, which wasn't far from the camp, at Vung Tau, at Nui Dat, and they pinched a bus and took the bus back up and took the motor out of it and put it into the forklift and put the broken one in the bus, and they pushed it back into Berea, and the forklift was still going. It was probably still going when I left, and I never really sort of asked about it later, but and I never saw the ammunition being unloaded down there because we're under Australian command, a totally different setup. I don't even know where our ammunition came from. I spent most of my time going out on ops in the jungle sector. Anyway, I just thought that might be a bit of a funny story. We got ourselves a forklift. I'll leave it at that.